Lifting family, welcome back. So in the latest cuts for CrossFit, instead of just cutting athletes at the games, the CEO, Jeff Cain, is actually out of CrossFit. He sent his resignation letter in, and as of September 1st, he will be out as the CEO. He had actually joined the ranks in 2017. He had taken over the position for Greg Glassman, who was the founder. Greg Glassman is actually still a chair for CrossFit. So as I was trying to dive into the story a little bit to see exactly what was going on outside of some major changes in terms of staff, in terms of the layout of the games, and the pending doom for Reebok, or the pending blessing, depending on how you look at it, for the contract that is set to end after the 2020 games for Reebok. So I mean, there's potentially a lot to dive into here just because there's a lot going on with the Reebok sponsorship. There's a lot of unknowns that people had slowly found out in terms of the contract dispute due to royalty payments or missed royalty payments allegedly from Reebok to CrossFit. Last year, late last year, right around this time, there were actually several cuts, quite a few actually. Some people had estimated it to be around like 30% of the staff from CrossFit was actually cut. Last year actually came from Glassman, who is the chairman and founder, but at the same time, depending on which people were cut and whom was cut, normally that comes from like a superior. So that would come from someone who, if you work for a boss, generally your boss is going to be the one that lays you off. The owner is not going to come in and be like, hey, you're gone. That can happen, but at the same time, it's not super common. And so now there's a CEO that's in place that did not make these cuts. So that is interesting. And then you've got to change to the games, and then also from regionals to sanctionals. Then there's also cuts, so it more becomes like the Hunger Games. A lot of those changes now, CrossFit itself has taken a while to be something that people are adapting to or have adapted to. Others are still not accepting it. So it's just an interesting sport, just because a lot of people have their own specific take or their own specific feeling on it. The big thing here is that there's a lot of business that has been generated from CrossFit. There's a lot of positive that's come from CrossFit. But it's just interesting that a man who stepped into the role 2 years ago is already leaving an organization like this. And it just seems like Glassman is a man that seems to be behind the scenes, and the name that we often hear is the game's organizer, which is Dave Castro. But the key would be the Glassman piece, and then Castro kind of seems to be this evil genius. And I would assume that most CrossFit Games athletes would definitely agree with that statement. So with this, it's an interesting piece. A lot has gone on. Again, a lot of the staff, some of the major names that people were accustomed to or were cut or terminated. And then now we get the Jeff Cain, who has submitted his resignation. So I've been in management roles in the past. I'm actually a co-owner of the business here on my shirt. And in the past, when it came to management, I can understand how there can be butting heads and issues when it comes to what am I doing? What is my role within this company? Because I'm set out to do something, and if other people are stepping on my toes, that's a problem, because now my leadership role is a little bit diminished, and then the people under me can start to figure out that they might not necessarily need to go through me to get an answer. That can become really, really problematic in a hierarchical structure in terms of a business. So outside of that, sad to see that a lot is just kind of getting into a jumbled mess when it comes to CrossFit. It is definitely something that's growing. There's a lot going on there. Remember to like this video if you like content like this, especially announcements and updates. This is always fun to just kind of stay in tune with different things. It helps keep me in tune with different things within the industry. Comment below if you have any questions, any thoughts, anything else that you might have seen where someone else had made some comments, or maybe you've got some articles that are related to this. Please remember to subscribe to the channel as well. Subscribers are going up. That is definitely very, very much appreciated. Outside of that, as always, thank you for watching and keep pushing.